Hey, Yetta, I think I want to buy a tent.
We already have tents.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
We're excited that for over 30 years, we've been able to come alongside you, not only selling, buying, and investing in real estate over 3,117 times, but coming alongside you to build your fitness, build your faith, build your fun, and even strengthen, heal, and flourish inside relationships. So really 30 years of building your finances, your fun, and your home.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we discover fun, how can we have more fun? And that's by looking at other types of investments.
Yeah, because the discovery is half of the battle, half the fun.
It is.
If you want to call it a battle. Some people love the excitement of something new to invest in and play it like a game. What can I invest in? How quick can I invest in it? What's the return? How quickly can I build wealth?
And so the whole tent thing, what were you thinking about? Because we don't need more tents.
Well, surely it was a yurt.
A yurt. So that's seasonal investing. So what we want to unpack a little bit is...
Well, no, yurts can be year-round. They have a wood stove in them, but they're canvassy, they're tenty. They tend to have a plywood floor, maybe a wood stove in them. Mm-hmm. And they're becoming very popular. People will rent them at a high rate because they want to get out of their condo, they want to get out of the city, and they want to get back to nature. So a yurt just gives them a lot of screened-in area, especially in the summer, a lot of breeze right through it. It's usually back in the middle of a forest or a field or something.
Right. So if you have a larger piece of property, it may be wise to be able to take your principal residence and even have seasonal rentals on it or year-round rentals if you want to navigate it. So there could be more maintenance involved in that kind of project.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little more hands-on. It's kind of like having a bed and breakfast in your home. Right. Some yurts even come with some food, like people bring you food to the yurt because they don't generally have a lot of cooking facility or anything like that. So it can be a really grand adventure for a couple or whoever. Right.
So if you're thinking of adventure, this might be it for you. Or maybe it's more of a cottage. Maybe it's a seasonal 3-season, or even if you have a 4-season cottage, it may be that it's on an unopened winter road. So therefore, or it could be lake access only or boat access only. So depending on where you're buying something, even something that could be used 4-season, you might only be able to use 3-season.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that a lot of people don't rent cottages on a lake in the winter because they're just not into like being cold and skating on the ice or whatever. Right. But if you can find a cottage that's 3-4 seasons and it has skiing nearby, now you've got a 4-season rental as opposed to a seasonal. But let's talk about some of the pros and cons of a seasonal rental.
Well, one of the pros for sure is that you usually get a higher rental rate.
Yeah, because typically they're on the water or something, and so they rent very high weekends and you can have just week long or you can have weekends. And one of the issues with, another pro is it's a short season that you have to manage it.
You mean con?
No, it's a pro.
Oh,
because you get to manage it and rent it for a shorter season, and then you get a break from all that, and then it'll start up again kind of this time of year for your seasonal summer rentals.
Okay.
And then by the fall, you can shut it down and forget about it.
So you're right. Now, one of the cons could be that you want to use it at the same time it rents high.
Yeah, and also if it's a short rental season, like if it's 3 months of rental season and you want to spend, 4 weeks at the cottage, well, you've just taken away a third of your rental time.
Right.
So you won't make as much on that seasonal rental, but it's still more advantageous than just buying a cottage that you leave vacant most of the time, because then it's not a business write-off either. It's all the expenses yours. But if you rent it out part of the time, now you can write off a lot of the expenses And even sometimes when you go there, the week you go to open it, the week you go to close it, those are expenses because you now have to be there to maintain it.
Right. So passive investing is one of the things you've talked about with seasonal, right?
Not with seasonal, not so much. No,
Okay.
I find passive is typically better with a seasonal cottage is more involved. Passive would be more like you go in with a partnership to buy something, or you go to a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust, and they have multiple big apartment buildings, and you just give their $5,000 or $10,000 and you get a little portion of the profitability. So that's one way you can be passive. Now, ours is not seasonal. The one we bought in Mexico, it's year round, which I like that it's year round, but it is somewhat passive because we have a management company, a person renting it, a person maintaining it, although it's been more passive. No, not more passive, more unpassive.
More hands-on.
More hands-on than we thought it would be.
And that's, I think, as we're getting it up to the standard that we want it to be, right? We're building the condition of it, getting rid of all the deferred maintenance and that sort of stuff. So really assessing what it's going to take to make it work for you is part of this conversation. Whether we're talking seasonal or not, what's it going to take to make it something that works for you?
Yeah, and we also had to make a mindset shift. I did anyways, because I thought, okay, this week we're going down for vacation. But we met with people every day on maintenance, on getting quotes. We went to the hardware store, we bought equipment, we bought screws, we repaired things. Like, we were active for the whole week. Yes, were there times where we went out for dinner, enjoyed the beach and all that? Yes, there was. But it wasn't like a true week vacation where you just go and
Well, that's why some people would
relax.
just rather rent somebody else's and not have to think about any of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But then we go back to the investing thing. It's going up in value and bringing us an income when we're not there.
Right. So a full-time rental just expands when you can rent it. It still may have high and low seasons. Like, even if you've got a place where you can ski, a place that has golf, and a place that is on the water, you got all those three things. There's still a little bit of season, a month or two at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, where you can't do any of those activities.
Right.
And so it's still somewhat seasonal. Unless you go somewhere like where we bought, it's hot year round, still has its slow seasons though.
Absolutely. And so as you're thinking about this, the one thing you don't want to do
What's that?
is have blind trust. Like, every single time we bought an investment, because it can be scary. Every time we bought one that went bad, it's because we had blind trust. We didn't do our due diligence.
That's right. Now, what's worse than having blind trust, though, in my opinion, is having blind mistrust. Because if you have blind mistrust, you will not take any risks. You won't take any investments because you blindly mistrust everyone and everything. And so you sit and you hide your money under the mattress. That's not going to work for you either. We're honored to be your advocates, building wealth through real estate and having a life exponential.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward